Have you ever felt like you are racing against a shapeless opponent called time? In this fast-paced world, our minds are constantly spinning and restless. Life moves at a dizzying speed, leaving us breathless as we chase deadlines and expectations, often forgetting the simple beauty of being present in this moment. Our thoughts are like a glass of water shaken violently, clouded with anxieties and endless plans that never seem to find a peaceful place to rest. But let us pause for a beat and breathe. Let me tell you a secret from the heart of the desert about a patient old man beneath the scorching sun, where time seems to stand still. There lies a wisdom that the modern world has long forgotten in its hurried, chaotic pursuit. Meet Victor, a man drowning in a sea of documents, suffering from the weight of overthinking and the heavy burden of his own ambitious, restless soul. He represents every one of us who feels trapped in a cycle of stress, seeking a way out of the storm that rages within our minds. To find peace, he must travel far beyond the city lights, to a place where silence speaks louder than the noise of the bustling, crowded streets. Victor arrived at a hidden oasis, a miracle of green life, thriving in the harshest environment, where he encountered the legendary hermit known as the sower. His steps were heavy, his spirit broken, but the sight of life amidst the barren wasteland drew him forward with a curiosity he hadn't felt in years. There stood Alexander, the sower of seeds, his face a map of peace and resilience. He moved with a grace that defied the heat and age. Victor asked him how he could nurture life in a place of death and dryness. Alexander simply smiled, a look that held the vastness of the sky. "Patience is not waiting," Alexander said softly. "It is the art of understanding that everything has its own season, its own time to grow and flourish." He invited Victor into his humble dwelling, a place where the air felt cooler and the rhythm of life seemed to slow down to a heartbeat. "You are like this desert, Victor," the old man whispered, "full of potential, but currently scorched by the fire of your own frantic and unyielding desires." Victor listened, his heart beating fast, realizing that his wealth and success had brought him everything except the one thing he truly needed: a quiet mind. He realized that his life had been a series of sprints, but he was running on a treadmill, never actually arriving at a destination of satisfaction. "Stay a while," Alexander offered. "Let the desert teach you what the city could not. Let the silence heal the wounds of your noisy, busy life." And so the traveler stayed, beginning a lesson that would change his perspective on time, success, and the very essence of what it means to live. Alexander held up a glass of muddy water. "This is your mind right now," he said. Victor watched the swirling dirt with a look of confusion. "I want to see the bottom," Victor complained, glancing at his watch. "How long will this take? I have things to do and places to go." "Do not touch the glass. Do not stir it. Just watch," Alexander instructed. The two men sat in silence as the light began to change slowly. When your mind is clouded by worry, do not try to fix it by force. Do not stir the mud with more thoughts or frantic actions. Like this water, your soul needs stillness. Only in quietness can the heavy sediments of anxiety drop away, revealing the clarity that was always there inside. Minutes turned into an hour. The frantic energy in the room dissipated, replaced by a profound sense of observation and a quiet, growing respect for process. Finally, the water was clear. Victor could see the grain of the wood through the glass. He realized that the answer was not effort, but waiting. The clarity was always there, Alexander said. You just had to stop shaking the glass. Your peace is natural. Your stress is what you have added. He understood that overthinking was just stirring the mud. By doing nothing, by being still, he had allowed the truth of his own heart to emerge. This simple lesson of the cup of water became the foundation of Victor's transformation, a reminder that stillness is the most powerful tool for souls. In the days that followed, whenever Victor felt the urge to rush, he would visualize that glass of water and wait for the mud to settle. He watched how the old man lived. Alexander didn't rush his chores, he inhabited them. Every movement was a prayer of presence and a celebration. Slowly, the businessman began to disappear, and a human being began to emerge, one who could breathe, observe, and appreciate the beauty of a single moment. The next morning, Alexander took Victor to the edge of the oasis. He held out a tiny seed, no bigger than a grain of desert sand. Everything in nature follows a rhythm, he said. A seed cannot grow faster because you are in a hurry or because you have important meetings. It needs time to soften, time to crack its shell, and time to push through the heavy weight of the earth to reach the light. A stone takes thousands of years to be shaped by the wind. A flower blooms only when it is ready. Nature does not rush anything. Look at the leaf. It falls only when its mission is complete. It doesn't fight the wind. It surrenders to the timing of the seasons. Victor realized that he had spent his life trying to force the seeds of his career to grow overnight, ignoring the natural cycles of growth. Patience is not passive waiting, Alexander explained. It is the deep understanding of time's laws. It is working hard while trusting the process of life. We are often so focused on the harvest that we forget to honor the planting. We want the fruit without respecting the long, silent growth. This sprout didn't compare itself to the tall trees. It simply grew, inch by inch, faithful to its own inner blueprint and its unique timing. He felt a strange connection to the earth, a sense of belonging that his high-rise office and expensive suits could never provide in the city. To be patient is to be at peace with the present, the old man said. If you are always looking for tomorrow, you miss today. Victor watched the garden, seeing not just plants, but a living testimony to the power of persistence and the quiet strength of a soul waiting. He saw that even in the most barren places, life finds a way if given the space and the time it requires to truly grow. Night fell, bringing a different kind of peace. Victor felt the rhythm of the desert entering his heart, calming the storm that raged for years. The contrast was stark. In the city, he had everything, but possessed nothing. Here, he had nothing, but possessed the world within his calm spirit. He had chased numbers on a screen, thinking they were keys to happiness, while true wealth was the ability to breathe and be still today. He unburdened himself of the need to be first, the need to be fast, and the need to always be busy. He chose being. He sat beside Alexander, learning to listen to the heartbeat of the earth. He was no longer a merchant of goods, but a student soul. He realized that his problems were small compared to the vastness of the universe. His anxieties were merely ripples on the surface of deep oceans. True happiness does not come from accumulating more. It comes from the courage to let go of expectations and the wisdom to live fully now. He had found his center. He had found the sower within himself, the one who knows that the best things in life cannot be forced. The oasis was a sanctuary, not just from the heat of the desert, but from the heat of a life lived too fast and shallowly. Time was no longer his enemy, it was his companion. Every second was a gift to be opened slowly, with reverence and a grateful heart. "You are ready," Alexander whispered. "The desert has given you its secret. Now you must take this stillness back into the world where needed." He knew the storm would still be there when he returned, but he would no longer be the storm. He would be the calm center. They sat in a silence that was not empty, but full of everything that matters. The desert had done its work, and a soul reborn. Morning brought a sense of new beginnings. The air was fresh, and the horizon promised a journey that was no longer about speed, but direction. Victor began his walk back. His steps were light, his head held high. He didn't rush to reach the end. He enjoyed every single step. He looked at the sun, the sand, and the sky with new eyes. Everything seemed more vibrant, more meaningful, and more connected than ever before. Behind him, in the garden of the sower, the seed he had watched being planted had broken the surface, a tiny miracle of persistent growth. He carried the oasis within him. The trees, the water, and the silence were now part of his own being, a sanctuary he could visit. When he saw the notifications and missed calls, he didn't feel the old anxiety. He simply smiled, breathed deeply, and decided to handle them well. My friend, in this hurried world, remember the sower in the desert. Give yourself the gift of a pause, a moment to let mud settle. Be patient with yourself. Every soul has its own season to bloom, but do not rush your growth, for the most beautiful flowers take time. If this story brought you peace, please share it with someone who needs to slow down. Leave a heart below to join our growing community. Thank you for listening and for choosing to be present today. May you find your oasis and your own rhythm in the dance of life.